Du, planeta.
Oh, no! No!
And a high fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Bonds, looking up at the wall. That ball is out of here! Out of here! It's gone! Santa Maria! You can put it on the board! Yes! Did he get it? Did he get it? Oh, my goodness! That ball is absolutely crushed!
We're back, baby.
Way Out of Here is back in podcast form.
That's right. Visual again.
Episode 20?
7
15?
million?
1,000?
Let's get it
We
going.
have a lot of episodes. Not really, though, but we are back. And we're visual this time. Throwing it up on the YouTube channel. Throw a subscribe while you're at it, right?
Yeah, of course.
But
Great
today,
content up there. Great
content. You want some golf ball in your life? Check it out.
Some all sports punts. Check it out.
Some football challenges? Check it out. A day in the life of each of us?
Check it out.
Oh, man. But today is New Year's Eve.
Yes.
It's the end of a decade, end of an era. As you said before, it actually kind of hit home. Like, this is the decade
Of
that
our
we-
childhood memory sports.
a lot of our childhood memories
Yeah.
have come in this decade. Not the greatest decade for New York sports, but it was a pretty great decade overall in terms of sports moments.
Yeah.
So we decided to do a special edition podcast. We're going to do a top 10 plays of the decade.
Plays / moments. Mainly
yes,
plays.
Mainly plays, but there are some moments in there across all sports. And then top 10 athletes of the decade. So that should be nice and juicy for you guys.
And we'll go in reverse order, obviously, to keep the suspicion. The suspense.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. You guys might start to pick up as players get eliminated and stuff like that, but we'll save that for last. Let's start with the plays.
All right.
So there are a lot of good plays. We have some. We debated this for a while. We were
did.
making the list for a long time. I think we finally got it to where we wanted.
Pretty right. So if you disagree, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're the experts here. I mean,
Yeah,
we have the
yeah.
sports channel on
like
YouTube.
20-something episodes.
So,
Clearly the best.
It might
one.
be 20. I
Yeah.
think this is even number 20. I'm so happy.
It might be.
This is good for us.
All right.
All right, yeah, so let's start at the top. So the 10th best play of the decade. Well, this is a moment, actually.
Well,
oh, it was
it's
kind of a
it's the
play.
record, Yeah.
Yeah, it was the record-breaking run for Usain Bolt.
Proved he was the fastest
Yes.
all time of man ever alive.
Yes.
So
Insanely
put that up
fast.
there.
And he does every Olympics he appeared in, just dominated
Yeah.
everyone. So he definitely needed to be in there.
Number 9, we got Jose Bautista's bat flip, because that was just
Oh, yeah.
insane, and the world went crazy. The bat is still flying.
It is.
So
That whole inning actually should be part of that moment. With the Andrews errors and stuff.
it could be, but this was
Famous.
like
The Batista bat flip heard
Yeah,
around
you
the
know.
world.
the powder keg explosion right there.
Oh man, insane. That's the sound that came from that stadium.
Yeah. If pictures
Insane.
don't have
Yeah.
sound,
Take a look at that
That
picture
picture.
of him chucking the bat 30 yards the other way. Okay, word. So number 8 on the list. This one hits home for me. This came in one of the first moments of the decade, actually.
yeah.
The Super Bowl in 2010. The New Orleans Saints started off the second half with an onside kick, and it was a complete surprise onside kick. They recovered it, completely changed the vibe of the game. They just went on to dominate the Colts the rest of the way, completely rewrote history in that aspect. It also took away, potential Super Bowl from Peyton Manning, which was kind of held against him for a
Yeah.
while, and it also added to Drew Brees' legacy, giving him his only Super Bowl ring.
Potentially.
So that
yes.
was a huge moment in NFL history, actually, and that came right at the start of this day. Set the tone for the decade.
Really did.
And NFL actually had a really good decade. A lot of good, exciting
It did.
playoff games.
Yeah.
But this was probably the best moment, honestly.
Yeah, could be for the NFL.
We also talked about the Tracy Porter interception here. I remember we were going
From the game,
We were
yeah,
going back
I
and
mean,
forth. The Tracy Porter that kind of locked up the game. This
was more important.
completely
though.
changed
Yeah.
the-
If the Saints
the-
didn't get the onside kick, they would never have won. And
Exactly.
Tracy Porter
And
would have
that's a
never been
fact.
able to make the
Yeah.
interception.
That's a fact.
So that's
they
a fact,
completely
yeah.
changed the tide there. So that was a historic play.
Yeah. So in at number 7 is another football event or play. The Malcolm Butler interception. The Seahawks are just dreaded by the goal line. Last week, a couple days ago, they couldn't get it right on the inch yard line. Couldn't get
With
it.
the same running back.
The same running back.
Same quarterback,
except
same running
they've
back.
asked it again, but this was more excusable. So they were at like the 10 when they started the play. Anyway, Malcolm Butler jumps in front of the route, picks it off, ices the Super Bowl. Should have ran it in with Marshawn Lynch there. I mean, I don't know. What
If
they were
you
thinking.
are a real football fan, not a Patriots fan, you know, if you root for any team in the league that's not the Patriots, this still keeps you up at night.
Oh yeah.
That play haunts me still.
Yeah.
That should not be a title for the Patriots.
No,
player.
no.
Insane.
It shouldn't
I mean,
be for anybody. They just should watch that year.
insane.
Like-
Insane.
Like
Russell
the
Wilson should have
2018
2 rings.
Astros. Both those championships should just be
What was,
removed.
that? What was the other one?
The 2018 Astros.
Oh.
just removed.
Change up coming in. No, yeah, that was insane. It makes no sense that you have Marshawn Lynch on that team and you
Yeah.
even consider throw. They didn't even. Who did they even throw to? It was like.
Was it Curse? I have no idea.
I think it was Curse.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, actually, Curse made the
He made
magical play before
Yeah,
that.
that was crazy. That might have
That would
that would have been
Yeah,
on the list.
it would have
If
been.
right in this very
Yeah.
spot.
That-
if
that 100%
if they
would've-
ran the ball.
People forget about that play
Yeah.
because they lost.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so next on the list, that was what? That was number 7?
Yeah, that was number 7.
Okay, so number 6, oh yeah, the Ray Allen shot from the corner, Game 6. What was that 2011, 2012?
Not sure on the
Actually,
year.
yeah, I forgot the year, but that was against the Spurs. That was I think that was the first championship the Heat won.
Yep.
And it was LeBron's first championship, so that was huge.
Really
That
saved LeBron's career. In a
did
sense.
he really did? That was Ray Allen was actually pretty huge for the Heat
Yeah.
that year.
Yeah.
Pretty huge, coming off the bench, starting a couple of games, but I mean that was one of the most clutch shots I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my life. That was like Kawhi Leonard shot this year, but way more clutch.
Yeah. And
Way more
smooth,
clutch.
way
Way
more
bigger
smooth.
position. Way more smooth. Yeah, it didn't hit the rim
No,
70,000 times. Yeah.
And in. Yeah, no.
No, but Ray Allen drilled it from 3. He is the best 3-point shooter of all time.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
putting him in that position was lethal for the
Yep.
Spurs.
Transitioning from that, at number 5, we have LeBron James' block in another championship
Yep. Yeah.
where he saved the Cavaliers' careers.
2016.
By, 2016.
That was 2016. Yeah.
Kyrie Irving also played a pivotal part in that little
Oh,
run.
that shot.
Yeah, the shot. But the block.
But the block
was
is huge.
Huge.
The block is huge. It was a
Massive.
tie game with like
Yeah.
20 seconds left. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. So that was number 6.
That was 5.
That was number 5. You're right. Yes. Okay. So number 4 is the Villanova buzzer beater in the championship game. That was 2018.
2016.
Was it 2016
Yeah.
already?
2016.
I thought it was like, yeah, wow, 2016. Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, buzzer beater to end it. Place went nuts, stormed the court. That
Yeah.
was wild.
And another pivotal moment for the list. Right before, North Carolina player hit a shot that was nuts.
Yeah. Oh my God.
With
Yeah.
like 5
Tied it up at
seconds
like
left.
74.
White or something?
Yeah.
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 Oh my God. Yeah, that was like almost a half court shot.
That was
that
a
time.
3, but like he was
It was
really
a deep,
out of like
deep
he was-
three,
it
and he
was
was
nuts.
contested.
Yeah.
It gave him like 5 seconds. Yeah. No, that was insane.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, it's top 4 moment of the decade.
Yes.
That was. I remember watching that. Just complete shock.
Yeah.
Also, I was very happy because that's the only time I've ever won my March Madness
Wow.
bracket.
Look at that.
I had
Winners
Nova
all
win it
around.
Yeah.
Winners all around.
Over UNC. Yeah.
Another winner, the Chicago Cubs at number 3, winning the World Series. Again, this is a moment, but you got to put them in there, ending a 108-year drought? 108-year drought. Yeah, you just got to put them. There's no other things to describe that. It's
Especially,
just gotta be in there, number 3.
1 year after the MLB canceled the World Series too. There was no World Series in 2015.
Oh, right. 'cause
So,
nothing
Yeah, they
happened
canceled
that
the World
year.
Series in 2015. So, people were, they wanted a good game.
Yeah.
So when that was great. Well, Rajay Davis also. We also said this before.
Yeah,
If the
another
Indians
one.
win the World
all
Series,
these moments have like the two
huge
yeah.
things setting up.
Yeah.
If Rajay Davis, if the Indians win the World Series, the Rajay Davis home run,
would have been on this
easily
list.
a top 3 moment of the decade.
Maybe not top 3, but it would have been on the list.
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, it
The
didn't
Indians
happen,
have a drought
so.
too. Yeah, we can't really discuss that. But all right, yeah, moving on. Number 2.
My favorite moment, personally.
Is it in frame?
Maybe
We
my
do
favorite.
have it?
I don't
No,
think it's in frame.
It's not
but
in
we
frame.
have
We
it.
do have a poster over there of it. Thursday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys.
I was on a plane at this moment when this happened.
Really? I came
I'll
back from an
explain.
Italian restaurant, had a nice, beautiful dinner, came home, watched the Giant game. Great game. You know, it was a normal game up
Yeah.
until this point. Then Odell Beckham decides to just become an alien,
Yeah.
bend in an unbelievable way that no one is. You can't recreate this
No.
in regular motion. You know,
No,
you could
yeah.
go slow motion, it still won't be the same.
Yeah.
He made the most insane catch I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of great catches since, a lot of great catches before. Nothing to that magnitude.
Yeah. No.
The only thing that would make that better is if it was in a playoff game.
Oh yeah, and
That-
winning the
'cause it
Super
was-
Bowl on that touchdown. That would be
Oh,
all-time greatest moment of all time.
obviously,
Yeah.
that would be number one. No, but this catch was absolutely. He actually broke the internet.
Yeah, and it's been broken for a bunch of years
It
after.
had, it's,
so
you still see this like
all the time.
Yeah, you see it everywhere. Every time you watch a Browns game, but every time you watch a game that Odell Beckham's playing in, you see this catch.
Yeah.
That is gonna be with him
It's-
forever.
Yeah.
It's something. Like you just we know exactly where
Yeah, I
we
was
were
gonna
when
say
it happened.
this moment and the moment that's following this.
You
for
know
number
exactly-
one, you know
yeah.
exactly.
You
where
know
I-
exactly where you
Again,
were.
I was on the plane. Funny story. I was watching this. It was nighttime, and the planes are usually quiet, and all of a sudden this happens, and I jump up screaming, out
Yeah.
of just. It just was my instinct.
Everyone
like,
thinks the
holy,
plane's
what the
going
hell?
down.
And people are looking like, but I was not the only one who jumped up screaming because a bunch of other people were watching that game.
Oh, yeah,
so,
they know.
but
They know
but
what was
people
up.
who weren't watching thought there was something going on the plane. But no, we were like, we just witnessed history.
For them, it's the worst
Yeah,
moment.
they're like,
of their life.
oh no!
But for you, it's
I
like.
was like, yeah!
Oh.
I believe I was like, oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
and that's not what you want to hear when somebody's screaming on a plane. Oh my god! But anyway,
Well, everyone in my house, it was me, both my brothers, my dad, and we had some friends over too.
yeah,
And everyone at the same time, as loud as they can, screamed.
yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Right? Just, it shook the house.
Yeah.
We all at the same time were in complete disbelief. And then, once you see the replay of it,
Yeah.
it's like, that's a clean catch.
he just
not even
catch
close
that?
to going out of balance. Yeah, just insane. Yeah, and Chris Collinsworth
Yeah.
even said at that time, that's probably the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it holds true. That was 2014. Here we are. It probably will stand as the greatest catch of all
Yeah,
time.
for a very long
I don't
time,
think it's
until
gonna be topped.
robots take over the world. Anyway,
Yes, that's true.
at number one, again, we all know where we were. If you were alive or around or enough of an
yeah.
age to know what was going on to see this, the Chris Davis Auburn kick six. I was at an Islander game in between the first and second period, I believe, or
man.
period. And it was intermission, and I was in a room where there was a TV, and everybody just
Right.
was like, what is going on? Like, but again, another moment that set this up. But this again actually went.
No, the game before that.
Game before,
Yeah.
they threw a pass and it was tipped,
The tip.
and then continued in one motion to run for a
So
touchdown
smooth.
over Georgia,
So
which
smooth.
got them to play Alabama in the championship game for the
Yeah.
SEC.
I remember watching that with my friend, and he was walking out of the room because he didn't want to see Alabama win again. Because it was a nice,
Yeah, it was-
easy
yeah.
field goal setup. He was disgusted, didn't want to see it, and he thought I was lying when I said he's going.
Yeah.
This is happening right now.
Yeah.
They're returning it. That was insane.
Yeah,
Especially the circumstance too. Imagine that happened in a Super Bowl.
yeah. No.
It would still be number
No.
one of
Yeah.
all time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is a college championship. It's still number one
Yeah.
of the decade. It
Yeah,
is
it's nuts.
unbelievable.
Nuts.
Unbelievable. I can't even do that in Madden.
Yeah, no, it's impossible.
You can't do it
It's
in
not-
Madden. It's so hard to do.
Yeah. And then we each have an honorable mention.
Yes.
We'll just
sure.
quickly go over that because they didn't make the list. Mine's UMBC taking down Virginia. 16-1 never ever happened before, so
Historic.
it's got to be on there.
I also remember where I was when that happened. I was doing a
Yes.
fantasy baseball draft.
That's
Fun
right.
fact.
That's
Just
right.
drafted Mike Trout.
Wow.
Yeah, drafted Mike Trout, and then UMBC shocked the world. My honorable mention was Giant fans tune in. Mario Manningham's catch in the Super Bowl. So we talked about a lot of things that set up these great moments. This is one of those plays
Yeah.
that set up a historic event. The
Yeah.
Giants beat the Patriots for the second time. They had no business beating the Patriots that year.
No.
Both years they beat them, but they had no
Yeah.
business this year. Very similar situation to the first time they played the Patriots. Came down to the final drive. a lot of setbacks. It was like 3rd and long,
Yeah.
and Manningham made it. It was the most perfect play you could really think of, in terms of the throw had to be perfect. He thread the needle between 2 defenders on the sideline, and Manningham snagged it, got the feet in. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
That was an unbelievable guy. Very, very Tyree-esque.
Well,
Which Tyree
kind
would
of.
be number 1 if that was
would
in
be
this
number
decade.
1. Yeah. But he's not.
But
Anyway.
he is not.
So now that we completed the plays, which are all correct in correct order, not up for dispute, because we're right.
Not over dispute.
We're gonna go on to the set in stone correct list for the best athletes of the decade.
This is set in stone.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is like no way you could ever.
not really up for
you know,
debate.
yeah, not possible because we're right. So
Yeah.
All
Again,
right.
who has the sports channel here?
yeah, not you.
You could though.
You could. Yeah, anybody can. You
Follow
could
your
join,
dreams.
Yeah.
We have 15 subscribers now.
Something like that, and 2,000 views on one of our videos.
Oh,
Anyway.
check it out.
Check it out. Anyway, at number 10 for the decade, we mentioned his name before, Usain Bolt. Who I have Usain.
You say, yes,
I have Usain Bolt written
Usain
here.
Bolt. That's a
He
bold
was a
move.
bold guy.
It's a bold move.
Anyway, the reasons he's on here is at number 10, breaking the world records. He's the fastest runner in history, fastest man in history. You try to beat him in a race, you're going to lose. Became the only sprinter to win medals in the 100 meter, the 200 meter in 3 straight competing years, which is pretty impressive. And he holds the world record
pretty
for
impressive.
the 100 and 200 meter
That's pretty impressive.
record. Yeah.
Definitely
So,
faster than me. I can
Slightly.
confirm that.
yeah, slightly.
like
Just not by much.
I mean, maybe put us on the base paths at the same time. Maybe he's not a good stealer
Maybe.
like Ahmed Rosario, But
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely a little bit faster than me.
Yeah.
Number 9, from the NHL. This guy led the NHL in goals for the decade. Actually, going back to 2009, leads the NHL in goals. Alexander Ovechkin. So, Alexander Ovechkin in the last decade had 4 seasons of 50-plus goals and 1 season at 49.
Yeah.
That's 250 goals in a 5-season span.
-1.
Well, he had over 50 a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
So he had like 52, 53. 14 straight All-Star appearances going back to his rookie year. It's probably going to be a 15th this year because he's got like 24 goals, I think, again. He led the league in goals 6 times, 6 different seasons, which is insane, and won a Hart Trophy in 2012. And the only hiccup that he had in his career, his whole career, is that he couldn't win the Stanley Cup. He finally did that 2018 against the Vegas Golden Knights. So Ovechkin definitely had to be on this list. Comes in at number 9. I mean, when you lead in one of the 4 major sports, if you lead in goals, you probably got to be on the list.
Yeah.
Probably got to be on it.
Yeah.
Number 8. Take it away.
Number
Max.
8. Soccer. Lionel Messi.
Lionel.
We got, why is he on the list, you may ask? Why? Well, I'll tell you. He's the greatest scorer of the decade.
I'll tell you.
He's got 6 Ballon d'Ors.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Which is the most ever, and basically the MVP, it sounds like. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I looked it up. It's what it
He's got
sounds like.
6 balloons, man.
He's got 6 Ballon d'Ors. To go along with those 6 balloons in his hands, he's got 6 golden boots on his feet. Golden Boots Awards, which is, top
scorer, yeah.
goal scorer in FIFA,
Yeah.
and that's also the most ever.
Gotta know the
So-
golden boots.
Yeah. So moving on, 7.
Okay, number 7. Okay, you just said the name.
What?
You just said the name.
No, I didn't.
Drew Brees. Drew Brees. It comes in at number 7. Most yards and most touchdowns of all time.
Yeah.
He is,
Currently speaking.
I will fight to the death over this guy. I mean, I did the other day on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, the NFL released the top 100 of all time. Did you see this?
Yeah, and he's not on there.
And he wasn't on it.
It's ridiculous.
But the guys that were there,
Yeah.
Johnny Unitas, Otto Graham
Yeah.
over Drew Brees. The guy with the most yards, the most touchdowns of all time. Okay, look at this. In the last decade, he had 4 seasons of at least 5,100 yards. What? Tom Brady had 1 season of 5,000 yards. Peyton Manning had 1 of 5,000 yards.
No, he's the only one to do it multiple times.
Yeah, he's the only one.
He's
And he's
done
all,
it like 4 times.
yeah, exactly.
So,
He had a QB rating of at least 100 in 7 of his last 9 years, topping out at 116.3 this year, which is historic. He also has the completion percentage record for a single season, which he just missed breaking that again this year by like 0.1 or 0.2. He had 6 playoff appearances this decade, considering they don't build a team around him that often, especially in the middle part of the decade. It's kind of gross. And I'm going to say it, he should have made the last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah. Well,
It wasn't his fault. Like Stephon Diggs had the miracle in Minnesota 2 years ago. Last year, the pass interference heard around the world.
You got Eli Apple now to help that out. So.
No, yeah, that guy actually commits pass interference. And Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Jackrabbit.
All right, at number 6, we got Sid the Kid with an I, Crosby. All right, Sidney Crosby. He's great. Let's put it that way. Last decade, most points in a decade, in this decade. He has 9 All-Stars out of the 10 years, and could be 10 going on this year.
Yeah,
so he could be an All-Star decade.
Like
wow.
Ovechkin. That was Ovechkin, too.
Well, you know. All right. He has 1 Hart Trophy, which is an MVP, which honestly I would have thought he had more, and 2 Stanley Cups. Just an all-around great athlete.
That's true. He did dominate. Okay, moving on to number 5. One of the best in his sport, definitely, obviously. He's on this list. Steph Curry. Steph Curry had 5 straight finals appearances. He won 3 of them. Would have won 4 if it wasn't for that, LeBron block and Kyrie shot. Precisely, yes. He won 2 MVPs, back-to-back MVPs, actually. Shattered the record for 3-pointers in a season multiple times. So the record, I think, was 261 or 271. Still didn't find that out. But he broke it by 1. It was like 272 or 262, whatever one it was. Don't hold me to that. But if you take a look at the top 10 list for most 3-pointers in a single season, Steph Curry appears 5 times on that top 10 list, and he owns 3 of the top 4 spots, including the season where he maxed out at 402, which is just,
yeah,
that's just not fair. You can't hit 400 threes in a season. What is that? He's only 31 years old. He currently sits at in third place on most 3-pointers all time, I think. So he's definitely. He definitely belongs on this list. He's definitely one of the more polarizing athletes of the decade. Definitely. You say his name at all and it instantly becomes a story. He dominated the decade.
Yeah.
At least like the middle to late part of the decade for sure. But moving on to number 4, which we're both very excited.
Number 4 is the only debatable person on this list that can go higher. Because our list is set in stone, and it's correct.
Yes.
So,
It's correct.
anything
It is
between,
correct.
but Kershaw and Brady. Never mind, I'm cutting that out. Our list is correct. So anything, Kershaw can arguably be 1 spot higher than the person who's ahead of him. But let me just give you the stats. He's an 8-time All-Star in this decade. He led the NL in ERA 5 times in this decade. That's half a decade.
That is.
Of dominance right there.
That is math.
3-time Cy Young winner in this decade and 1-time MVP winner in this decade as a pitcher, which is like
That's just
impossible
insane.
to do.
That's insane.
All right. Keep going. From 2011 to 2017, he really was unstoppable and unhittable and just amazing. It was his peak Kershaw. From 2011 to 2017, he won 74% of his decisions. I know wins and losses are a flawed stat, but 74% of that's just
It's
ridiculous.
unheard of.
That's ridiculous.
That's unheard of.
Another stat from 2011 to 2017, complete game shutouts.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty rare.
Yeah, this is insane.
Number 2 on the list is Max Scherzer at 4 from that time period.
Yeah.
All right, so Kershaw is number 1 at 14. 14.
My God.
4 to 14. That's 10 more than Scherzer.
Yeah.
In that time frame. Oh, that's more than
And-
one a year.
And what was that stat that they said in that we found? It was like Scherzer, Verlander, and Chris Sale combined didn't even have 14.
Oh yeah, they all had 4.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Or it was like a combined 6 or 8 or 8 or 10, something like that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
the efficiency.
And the last stat I want to go by from 2011-2017 is he posted a 2.10 ERA in that span. The next guy of those dominant pitchers, Chris Sale, at a 3.
Ooh. Whew. My God.
My gosh.
My God, a
My
0.9
gosh.
difference. That's insane.
Yep. So he could be higher than
Then number 3, Tom Brady, often referred to as the GOAT. We'll see about that. He's also trying to coin Tom Terrific, by the way. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
What a goon.
What a goon.
Tom Seaver is Tom Terrific.
Yeah, like come on, Tommy.
Like patented.
You're little
He's
Tommy
legally
B.
Tom
Come on.
Terrific.
I'm gonna give you a patent. You're little Tommy B. All right.
Yeah.
Little Tommy boy.
You're Eli Manning's little brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 I was gonna say something
Tommy B.
else. I mean, still a great quarterback. Though. Still a great quarterback.
Tommy Butcher.
Which is why he appears at number 3 on this prestigious list. So, here's a fun fact about the dominance of Tom Brady. I know I told you this before. It is a wild stat. So,
All right, 60 minutes. Just came into my head.
here's a wild stat about Tom Brady. Okay. In the last decade, there are only 3 teams in the NFL that haven't played in a wild card game. The Buccaneers, the Browns. They're trash city. Awful.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The third team, the New England Patriots. This is a team that hasn't had a losing season in like 18 years. So that means they've gotten a first round bye every year of this decade. Except, well, this year, but this is going to be 2020 when he plays in that game. So every year of this decade, they had a first round bye. During this decade, they won 3 Super Bowls. He appeared in 5, lost to the Giants, Mario Manningham, up there, and the whole squad up there. Whole squad's ready up there.
Ready to just go take down another Brady.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's get them back
You
together.
don't see Brady on the wall,
Thank God, but we have an Islanders thing back there.
which is a mistake.
It is a mistake. During this decade, he had 316 touchdowns to 81 interceptions. Well, we will worry about that later. It's okay. Oh, did you get it? Oh, the live removal. Let's go. Throw it in the trash over there. Throw it in the trash.
Continue. I'm gonna find a spot.
I will continue. Tom Brady was a Pro Bowler every single year this year, except this year. I don't think they were announced yet this year. If they were, he hasn't been announced, you know. But he was a Pro Bowler every single year except this year.
Much better.
He had 2 MVP. It is much better. I feel more comfortable right now with it gone. I feel
Podcast
loose.
just got better.
Yeah, it did get better. I mean, we were already a top podcast of the decade
We're now
nominee.
top podcast of the century.
Of the century,
Let's
yeah.
go.
He had 2 MVPs this decade. It's safe to say he broke football because he has dominated for 2 decades now. He's a top 3 guy in the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
That's insane. Tom Brady, number 3. Could be Kershaw if you want to get into it. But, I mean, this guy absolutely broke his own sport when Kershaw has never won a World Series. So, Brady, number 3. Let's move on to number 2.
Number 2. Tough could be number 1. But
We wanted it
we
to be
wanted
number
it to be
1 at
number 1. We're a
first,
little
but-
biased. But nah, he's number 2. Michael Trout. Michael Trout.
Michael
Mike
Trout.
Trout. From 2011
Big
to
fish guy.
2019, because he didn't debut till 2011, so he kind of was a step behind the guy who's the number 1 because he didn't get the full decade.
Right.
But we'll just 2011, 2019. He's that good to be number 2. From the time period, his batting average 305, 285 homers, and 3 MVPs. He has 7 top 2 MVPs out of the 9 years. Right?
Yeah.
That he's been playing.
Yeah.
7, which he should have 7 MVPs, really. Not even gonna lie. All right, he should have 6.
At least
6.
5. At least
He should have
5.
6.
Like a
Everyone
solid 5.
except the
Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera triple crown
That's
one.
yeah. I would agree. I would
He
agree.
should have.
Every
which
year he
is
should have.
sick. 6.
The Altuve year, 100% should have been Trout.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wait, that was between Altuve and Judge, right?
It still should have been Trout.
Trout was better than both.
No. Top 2. He has 7 top 2 MVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Not to mention the other years. I'm pretty sure he's top 5. All right. Anyway, 7 Silver Slugger awards. He was a Rookie of the Year, by the way. And 8 All-Stars out of the 9 years he's played.
Multiple Gold Gloves. Too.
And to 2011, he only played 40 games. So every year he's played a full season.
Didn't he also have? I think he also had a 30-50 year, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
His rookie year or his second year in the league, like his
Something
first full
close to
year.
it, yeah.
Whew. 30-50. My God.
Yeah.
Him and Acuna are probably the only ones in the world that could,
Accomplish that.
right now get a 40-40.
Yeah. Well, now it's only Acuna. But yeah.
Trout could. I don't think he
He's just not
chooses to.
going to.
He
Yeah.
doesn't choose to do anything. He definitely could.
Yeah.
So that brings us to number 1. Right?
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Athlete of the decade. J.D. Davis of the New York Mets.
Yes, Todd Frazier! Suck it!
Get out. Get out.
Mets
J.D.
daddy,
Davis is
come
back
on.
in town. Yeah, come on the show. Come on the show.
Right
so I can
here.
tell you, J.D. Davis, you can sit right where the Islander logo used to be. J.D. Davis is not the number 1 athlete of the decade. But of the next decade, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
The real number 1 athlete of the decade, LeBron James.
LeBron James.
I personally, not the biggest LeBron James fan, but as a basketball fan, you can't help but just admire how he plays the game. This guy is undoubtedly the best player in this sport.
Oh, yeah.
And it was almost without a doubt number 1 on this list.
Yeah.
We wanted to put Trout because of the absolute dominance. But when you look at what LeBron has done, he literally makes nobody's relevant.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can see Mario Chalmers, J.R. Smith, all those guys, you know. He had 8 straight finals appearances. This decade, he averaged 26.9 points per game, which is insane for an entire decade. 7.7 rebounds and 7.7 assists. So almost averaging a triple-double for the whole decade. Started the decade with the Heat when he shocked the world with the decision, actually. I think the first year he was with 2010. So he did start the decade as a Heat. And then he went back to Believeland, won a championship there.
Believeland, yeah.
He won, what, 2 or 3 with the Heat?
2.
He won 2. So he's won 3 overall. 3 overall. And then, then he went back. He's closing out the decade in L.A. He's actually probably, you could argue Tom Brady. But he's probably the only guy on this list who was the best in his sport.
For the whole decade.
Best in his sport, going into this decade and going
including
out of the decade.
2010, and because otherwise,
Like
it'd be Trout as
Brady,
well.
Brady would probably be the best at football. He was probably the best football player. Oh, Peyton Manning, no.
Yeah, Peyton Manning had him until the Super Bowls. Yeah.
Peyton Manning was better. So this is probably the only guy on the list who was the best guy in his sport coming into this decade and the best guy in his sport leaving the decade.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's dominance. That is absolute dominance. Love or hate the guy, he plays with tenacity. He makes the game fun.
Yeah.
The blocks are insane. Just the defense in general. I think he's won Defensive Player of the Year a couple times too. He's just an absolute beast. He definitely makes the game more fun. And, you know, I can go without a couple more finals appearances just for the sake of being a basketball fan. You want to see something different. But, yeah, I mean, absolutely no doubt in my mind that he crushed it this decade. He's number 1 on the list.
Yeah.
So now we actually have a fun little thing here. So we're not going to provide stats, nothing crazy, because, you know,
This is all gut
it's all
reactions.
gut feelings.
Don't even have a name down yet.
Yeah.
We didn't even pick anyone yet.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's true. We're all just going. So it's got to be. So I think the rules. All we decided was we got to pick someone who, in any sport, hasn't been drafted yet, or hasn't been called up to the big leagues yet.
Yes.
If it's like baseball,
Right.
hockey,
They're
something
not.
like that.
They're not
So
in the big time.
They haven't played a game
Yeah.
yet at their professional level.
Right.
So you want to go first?
You want to just go at
But
the same
wait,
time?
no, wait, we didn't say
You
one.
don't- yeah, you wanna go at the
Someone
same time?
of that caliber.
You want to go at the same time? 3, 2, 1 instead of names?
Yeah, we could do that. But we also didn't say what we're doing. So we're just gonna
No,
say
this is going to be spitfire.
who we think is going to be in the top 10 of the next decade.
Well, it's interesting to see what comes out of our mouths. That's what I'm saying. Let's go 3, 2, 1, and then name who we're.
Yeah.
all
No,
right.
I'm just clarifying
Yeah,
what
okay,
the rules
yeah,
are.
cool.
So 10 years from now, we'll be doing a podcast with no Islander logo back there. We'll
Yeah.
still have Jeff McNeil back there and the Giants, of course.
Yeah.
But we're gonna decide one guy each who's gonna be on that list.
Yes.
All right. So you want to do this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what sport? Okay. Well, no, we won't say
No,
what sport it
yeah.
is. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Trevor
Adley
Lawrence.
Rutschman. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Different sport, different players, which is good.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is a great pick.
So is Rutschman.
Adley Rutschman. Number
He's
one.
the only-
Number one. pick.
Rutschman's interesting though because he might not be up for a couple years.
It might take a while.
Where Lawrence,
But that's the thing,
Lawrence
like, a
also
lot
won't be
of-
in it next year either. He's gonna be 2021.
But that's the thing. Like these guys will be around long enough for at least the
9
most
years,
most of the
years,
decade that they could do enough. Like look at Trout. Trout came in 2011. Yeah.
Well, that was only 4 games, so 2012 really.
2012, and he's the best player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So.
Anything within 20.
They could. I mean, these guys, especially Trevor Lawrence, rookie quarterbacks come in hot usually. Like they try to come in hot. So Trevor Lawrence can make an immediate impact if he wins one or two at least one. If he wins a Super Bowl in the next decade, good chance he's on this list. Maybe, as long as he's not putting up Jameis Winston numbers. 30 picks. 5,000 yards though. 30 picks.
Yeah,
he'll be fine. Adley Rutschman just gotta. I mean, to be on this list. Baseball player, it's tough. You got to be dominant.
Tough. Yeah.
It is tough. That's why, like, you could easily pick someone like, like a Fernando Tatis, a Pete Alonso, guys who are dominating right now at a very young age. But that's why we went with the minor league aspect of it. See what we could do. I mean, you saw, like, the only two guys on this list from baseball were Trout and Kershaw, and it was just complete and utter dominance.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. But, I mean...
But they all were number one overall. Everybody on this list was complete and utter dominance in their respective sports. So
exactly.
It
was a tough list to make. We had a lot of debating on the list, but I feel like this is as accurate as it can get.
It's correct.
Yeah, it is.
It's
correct. It is correct. It's correct.
Yeah,
it's very accurate. 100% accurate.
I
think that pretty much does it.
All right, cool. See you later.
Bye, Max. I'll close it out. So thanks for tuning in. Way Out of Here is back.
We're back, baby!
Follow the channel on YouTube. We're hot as ever. We got steaming hot content coming out once or twice a week. We got vlogs for you. We got podcasts are coming back. Podcasts won't be as usual, as frequent as they used to be. But thanks, Maxie. So here's the deal. We got challenge videos. We got everything. We got a microphone right now, man. We're all set up. We're ready for this. We're ready for the challenge. 2020 is the year that Way Out of Here pops off, and you got to join the train, join the wagon. Let's go. All right? We got podcasts, vlogs, challenge videos. Let's go.
It's out of here! Out of here!
Every step you take, every move you make.
Let's go.